Good evening and welcome to the Job Search Solution, the radio program where we talk about looking for a job, changing jobs, changing careers, hiring. And as always, we begin with a prayer. Dear God, grant us thy peace and thy mercy, thy will be done. And in just a few minutes, Rich Levinci is going to be with us talking about consultants in the workplace and what today's workplace shows and bodes well for or not so well for consultants. Always an interesting observation. I want to speak about in this session one of my favorite topics, kind of, and that's the meal interview, the dinner or lunch interview. I don't like these things. I don't like mixing social with work, but it's going to happen. And you, as a candidate, as well as an employer, may very well get caught up in it. And there are a few things you need to be aware of. First of all, eat a little something before you go. The last thing you want to do is appear ravenous at a meal. I had a candidate one time that the hiring authority told me that he just about ate everything in sight. They put a bread basket in front of him and he ate the whole bread basket and then asked for more bread. And it totally turned him off. It had absolutely nothing to do with his professional ability, but it turned him off. And you don't want that to happen. So eat something before you go. Remember that this is social, but it is still an interview and you are being judged by that interview. For goodness sakes, watch your table manners. Over the past few years, people's table manners have gotten worse and worse. I don't know why, but I can't tell you the number of times where I've had candidates eliminated because their table manners were so poor. Believe it or not, I had a candidate one time that picked his piece of meat up with his hands. I can't make this stuff up. Don't drink. Drink a Diet Coke. Do not drink alcohol in an interview. It is never a good idea. I don't care if the hiring authority starts getting sloshed in the interview. You don't drink. You're just not as sharp and you don't work on your feet and answer questions as well. Remember, it's an interview. You can't afford to have alcohol mess it up. Order something lesser than your host. Let the host begin by ordering and order something less. Do not appear like this is a free lunch and you're taking advantage of it. Whatever you do, don't order something sloppy. Soup, salad that you can spill salad dressing on yourself with. Chili, spaghetti, anything. Order a small piece of meat that can be cut in small pieces that you can talk around chewing. And it's a good idea to practice this stuff when you go. So order something less. I had a candidate not too long ago that ordered something and didn't even eat it because he was in the middle of an interview and he was doing a lot of talking. Be really careful when your spouse or your boyfriend or girlfriend or social person in your life is brought into an interview. You are judged by the company that you keep. I can't tell you the numbers of candidates over the years that I have had eliminated because their spouses or their girlfriends or their boyfriends drank too much, told dirty jokes, argued with their spouse in the middle of a dinner interview. I had a candidate one time whose girlfriend flirted with the hiring authority in front of his wife. I had years ago, I had a candidate go take his wife to an interview, and there was the president of a bank and 4 vice presidents with their spouses, and they literally voted on the candidate and his wife when they left the table. I had a candidate one time that took his, what he called his fiance to a dinner interview. When the president of the organization found out that he was living with this girl, he decided that he wasn't going to hire anybody that had those kind of morals. I got to tell you that it's treacherous when you have spouses and girlfriends or boyfriends or anybody like that go with you in an interview. Try to avoid it. Now, our spouses are the best compliments we've got, for better or for worse. And I've had many candidates get hired because they did have a delightful spouse who fit into the situation very well. But remember that your spouse is not the one, or whoever you bring to the interview is not the one that's being interviewed. You're the one that's being interviewed. And then lastly, remember that the most important subject that most people have is themselves. So if you're going to go on these social interviews like this, ask people about themselves. That's what they really want to talk about. And the more you get them to talk about themselves, the better off you are. Just remember, it is an interview and you need to be on your guard. All right, we're going to take a short break. Stay tuned. This is Tony Bashara with the Job Search Solution.